as far as anthology movies go, this is definitely one of the best. Alright, y'all, welcome to another episode of Tit for Tat. I'm being joined once again by my man Anthony A. Perez. We've been doing this Tit for Tat series, so to those that's new to the channel, we pick movies for each other that we normally would not watch. So today, we're going to be checking out Tales from the Hood. You're going to be hearing from him in a second. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, Anthony A. Perez. I'm going to put the link down in the description. Check him out. He reviews movies like myself. Very insightful, intelligent young man that uses a lot of big words. And I'm trying to get my vocabulary game up like him, man. So yeah, definitely check out Anthony A. Perez. We're going to hear from him in a second. So anyways, Tales from the Hood. This is going to be a spoiler review, so if you have not seen the movie, stop this video, go watch it, come back, let's talk about it. This is a very old movie, so I don't think I need to keep it spoiler-free, y'all. But Tales from the Hood, the title by itself can be very misleading. This dropped in '95, all right? This is directed by Rusty Cundiff. I think I said his name right. So he's responsible for Fear of a Black Hat, Sprung, this movie, and he's directed a lot of TV. He did Chappelle's Show. He directed episodes of, All I know is Chappelle's Show. But this movie here is a classic. Certified classic. I love Tales from the Hood. And like I said, the title can be kind of misleading because it's Tales from the Hood. So you think of Hood, you think of shootout movies, you think of, you know, comedies like Friday, you know, Men's to Society, stuff like that. So you hear Tales from the Hood, okay, so they're going to take horror and bring it to the hood, okay. Typical off-the-wall shit, but they're going to put a horror spin to it. Let's see what they got. It's not really that at all. It's more to it. Yeah, it's a somewhat horror story. I mean, it's an anthology movie, all right? And just to refresh you on the plot of it, so these three young men, you got his brother Joe Torre, DeAndre Bonds, and the angry black man that was in every hood movie back in the 90s, okay? They're going to this, damn, what's some places called where they have the dead people at? Shit. The dead people house. I'm tired, y'all, man. Excuse me. So they go to pick up these drugs, and Clarence Williams III, he's the mortician there. And they go and they pick up the drugs from him, and they're like, all right, where's the shit at? And his character, I think his name is Mr. Sims, he says, all right, yo, I got the shit for you. Oh, yeah, how you say it? Oh, yes, I got the shit. Come on and get the shit. Very creepy. Best performance in this movie. I think Perez says that as well. He has the best performance in this movie. And so he brings him in the house, and instead of getting him to the drugs and letting him get up out of there, he tells them some stories, some horror stories, some ghost stories to, I guess, frighten them or to enlighten them. I don't know, but these stories are frightening and enlightening. You got police brutality. You got child abuse. You got black on black crime, which I hate when people say that shit, because I'm not to get too political here, but every time I hear, well, why should Black Lives Matter when black people kill each other? I'm going to say this again. Every race kills each other. White, Hispanic, Asian, they all kill each other, but I guess they single us out because we complain about the police killing us, and the police do kill us at a more higher rate than any other race, but they say, well, they kill each other, so what's the point? But they tackle this in it. This movie tackled almost every black issue known to man, and I appreciate the shit out of this movie for that, and it aged very well. Most movies from the 90s and the 80s don't age that good, but you take that movie now, Tales from the Hood, and you watch it today, it's relevant, it still makes sense, it totally relates to what's going on today. The movie aged very well, surprisingly, because this is the last movie that I thought would age gracefully, is Tales from the Hood. Because I'll be honest, when I first watched this movie, I wasn't a fan. Because I was expecting a typical hood movie, but with a horror spin to it. And at first I thought it was kind of corny. The only story I used to like at the time was the one where the slaves came back as puppets. I thought that was the only good one. But other than that, I'm like, yeah, this shit's kind of whack. But now I watch it now in my ripe old age. I really appreciate this movie, and I like it a lot more. This is like a delayed fuse, kind of like Wolf of Wall Street when they ate the lemons, and first they're like, this ain't shit. But after a while, it kicked in, you're like, damn, this is the craziest. That's how I felt when I was watching this. That's probably a bad example, but that's how I felt watching this. I'm like, damn, this shit is just so important today because this shit still goes on. And I can't say that the movie scared me because I was rooting for the bad guy. Well, not so, well, I guess they were the bad guys. Well, the ghosts in this movie, the hauntings in this movie, I was rooting for him. I'm like, yeah, I said, kill those fucking police. I don't hate the police. I hate bad cops. So I'm like, yeah, kill the fucking police. You know, the child abuse situation. I was in a situation where my mom had a boyfriend that I didn't like and I was afraid of. So when he did it, I said, I wish I had that power when I was a kid to snap snap her boyfriend in half just like that. So I was rooting for the ghouls and the ghosts in this movie. So to me, this is almost like a superhero film, an anthology superhero film. But before I get into the rest of what I think about this movie, Perez, the floor is yours. What did you think about Tales from the Hood?
Rashad and all his viewers. Once again, my friend, thank you so much for having me in another video. And you've been on a roll, man. The last one, An American Werewolf in London, a classic, Fright Night before that. And this time you wanted me to check out Tales from the Hood. And yeah, I've always seen the poster from this film. I've seen the imagery, and I've always known that it was an anthology movie, meaning that it's a movie that tells different stories, and in some way they all connect at the end of everything. And yeah, I was definitely curious to see what this movie was going to be all about. I've never seen it, but I knew it to be an iconic film. Not only in the black community, but also just as a horror comedy film in general. And yeah, so if anybody doesn't know what this movie is, I'm sure Rashad's already talked about it, but this is a movie that tells a bunch of Halloween tales, an anthology story, a bunch of different stories that all come together at the end in some way that it all has to do with Halloween and horror, and takes place in the hood. And yeah, I really enjoyed this film. I'll go ahead and say it right out of the gate, man. I think this was a great film. Thank you so much for putting me onto this. I'm probably going to do a more in-depth review over on my channel, but what I could say right out of the gate is that what I really enjoyed about this film is that when I saw that it was a horror comedy, I was definitely curious to see how I was going to handle that kind of element as I started watching the movie, because while you're watching it, it's pretty heavy-handed on some very serious topics in the world, things like slavery and things like police brutality. And watching this movie in 2020 with everything that's happened this year, Black Lives Matter and all that kind of stuff, it just made the messages of this film stand out just that much more. And yeah, what I really enjoyed about this film is it was funny when it needed to be. It used a lot of these really serious and over-the-top Halloween-y elements to be funny at certain times, but it definitely was very real about a lot of the messages and that it was trying to convey. So right out of the gate, I love the fact that this movie had something to say beyond being just a regular horror comedy. On top of that, the performances I found to be really, really great, and these little stories are all a lot of fun. A lot of that reminded me of just very over-the-top kind of Goosebumps type of things. I think my favorite story out of all of them was probably the first one where, you know, obviously sadly the guy is killed via police brutality, and then obviously he comes back and kills all the cops. And I really, really enjoyed that whole little horror story. I love the way that they're able to incorporate the hood, you know, just that being able to incorporate the black community into this whole movie that's all about them and really focuses on some various serious topics. This is a movie that probably could have just made stories like this without touching so deeply on some real topics, and I think this movie did a really good job of being able to balance being able to be a horror movie and a comedy while also being able to have something to say, which I think made this movie stand out a lot for me. Like I mentioned, the performances in this film are phenomenal, and definitely the biggest standout of that has to be Clarence Williams III, I believe is his name. Yeah, he plays like the caretaker kind of person who's telling these three guys the stories throughout the course of the film, and there's a nice reveal at the end when it comes to those three guys and his character. Those three guys are played by Joe Torre, DeAndre Bonds, and Samuel Monroe Jr. And I think that they did a really good job too. Some of them are funny, some of them are serious, some of them are a little bit intimidating, and I enjoyed the reveal at the end of the movie that happens around these four characters. I just found it to be an overall really entertaining watch. I look forward to revisiting it and, you know, having more to say. I know that there's actually 2 sequels, if I'm not mistaken. I can't imagine that they're any better than this one, just because, you know, typically the sequels are not as good, and I've heard nothing about those movies. But yeah, I found this film to be an enjoyable time. I found it to be well acted. It leans into that Halloween spirit, and I definitely enjoyed it after watching some of the piss poor Freddy Krueger movies I watched earlier this week. So it was nice to kind of have a refresher of the Halloween palette. But yeah, sorry I got this video to you after Halloween, man, but I definitely appreciate you having me in this video as usual. Again, this was a solid movie. You've been giving me some bangers, man. I look forward to seeing what we got next. So a big thanks to you, and let's give it back to you, man.
My man, you see how I look out for you, man? But look, I still gotta do Sicario. I gotta get that to you ASAP. I've been slipping, bro. So, yeah, there's not much more I can say about this movie. This is a very important film. If you want to talk about black commentary and black social issues, watch this movie. And don't get thrown off by the title. It's called Tales from the Hood, but it really resonates with what's going on right now. You know what I mean? And the last story that had to do with the young man that killed, he was gangbanging or whatever, and he's in a situation where he's about to die, and he goes off into this dreamland or whatever, where he's part of this government program where he has to be reformed or redeemed. And when she locks him up to that machine, and that whole montage where you see they juxtapose between the KKK and the gangbang that's going on in the hood. And then she was like, yeah, so you don't like seeing black people get killed, huh? Well, what the hell you think you've been doing? And I don't know, that was some powerful shit. I want to know what a lot of people thought when they saw this back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like critics and shit. Like I was looking up a Siskel and Ebert episode, because I like to watch Siskel and Ebert reviews, and I didn't see anything that they had to say about it. But I just wonder if people walked away from it like, damn, I wasn't expecting that, because you're expecting just a regular horror film. Like at that time, slasher movies were in. So at the theater that I used to go to as a kid, it was called the RKO. They got nothing but cheesy slasher movies, B action movies, okay? I saw Showdown in Little Tokyo at the RKO. I saw the Freddy Krueger movies at the RKO. I saw Jason Takes Manhattan at the RKO. They get all these B horror movies, B action movies. So when I saw Tales from the Hood, I'm like, okay, yeah, definitely. And I walked out, I said, that wasn't scary. There was no slasher shit going on. As a 15-year-old kid, I ain't like it. But damn it, do I appreciate it now. So y'all, not to take much more of your time, I really love Tales from the Hood. I love the performances here. Angry Black Man, that was in every Hood movie. I forgot his name. Usually he makes me cringe when he acts, but I didn't mind him this time. Clarence Williams III is definitely the standout in here. Joe Torre and DeAndre Bonds. Well, DeAndre Bonds is funny in everything he's in. Every time I see him, I think about The Wood. He was Stacy in The Wood. So, yeah, all the performances was on point. David Allen Grier as the angry stepfather. That was the monster. I thought he was scary. You know what I mean? Yeah, the first skit, the one where the congressman gets killed, or the politician that got killed, and he came back and haunted the police, which I love, by the way. I'm looking at him and I recognize that guy from somewhere. And damn it, he was your boy from, if you've seen Creepshow 2, the hitchhiker part, the scariest one in Creepshow 2, the hitchhiker. I'm like, holy shit, that was the hitchhiker. And that still scares my daughter to this day. As far as anthology movies go, this is definitely one of the best. You got Creepshow, you got Creepshow 2, Tales from the Crypt, you know what I mean? Off the top of it, I can't think of any more, but Tales from the Hood is definitely up there as far as some of the best anthology movies ever made. And so I give Tales from the Hood a solid A. Aged very well, a very classic film, not just a hood film, not just a horror film, but just a fucking film. And if you need any kind of education on black life in America in the 90s and today, Tales from the Hood is your movie. And it ends very weird, all right? It does have a weird ending where I'm like, damn, this shit is out there, man. Yo, my man turns into the fucking devil. You see a fake CGI tongue come out of his mouth, and he transforms into the devil, and the whole time, these three motherfuckers was in hell. They was in hell. So I said, what a way to end the movie. Anyways, y'all, what'd you think about Tales from the Hood? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Comment freely below. Once again, if you like and dig the content, hit that like and subscribe notification bell in the corner. And don't forget to subscribe to my man Anthony A. Perez. The link is in the description. This is Rashad G signing out. See you in the next video.